wanted to do that.
Take a breath, take a breath, take a breath, take a breath. Take a breath and relax now. And I've got one little thing I'd like to say for at least a minute or so. It's a very important statement from the course. And that statement is, God's will for me is perfect happiness. 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 Now allow yourself to actually let yourself hear what I'm saying, what the course is saying. Sometimes it's easy because we know words to just say it, but I want you to think about that the will of your Creator is that you have perfect happiness. Like sometimes we'll go to kirtans and things and we'll be chanting things and we don't know what the hell we're singing, but we'll be doing it with so much enthusiasm, right? Sometimes we know, sometimes we don't. But a statement like God's will for me is perfect happiness. That's something I want to take a minute to let myself hear with you. So you don't have to necessarily say anything. It's okay for you to just listen. But we're going to use that as a way to get centered. Tell yourself, God's will for me is perfect happiness. 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 Love's will for me is perfect happiness. Love's will for me is perfect happiness. God's 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 will for us 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 is perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. God's will for me is perfect happiness. Nest in the happiness. Nest in the happiness. Nest in the happiness. You need not believe it. You need not welcome it. Some of the ideas are going to be hard to believe. Some of it's going to be startling. You're not asked to judge it. If you use it, you'll see that it's true. And the section that we're going to be on today is on page 608. The section called The Coming of the Guest in the text. And I got some extra books up front if anyone wants to follow along in the book. Because it actually, if you find yourself being one of those people that say, I can't read the course is hard to read, following along in the book, while I give some tips about how to read it, would be helpful. If you want to cross that bridge to the actual study of it. Why wouldn't you perceive it as a release from suffering to learn that you are free? Why wouldn't you perceive it as a release from suffering to learn that you are free? Why would you not acclaim the truth instead of looking on it as an enemy? Why does an easy path so clearly marked it's impossible to lose the way? Why does an easy path so clearly marked it is impossible to lose the way seem thorny, rough, and far too difficult for you to follow? It's interesting how many people will come into the class and tell me how difficult it is to come to the class, and say all the different things that come up that makes it difficult to come, and that's not unusual at all. And to me, it's funny that this paragraph is directly addressing that exact thing that we were talking about right before the class. You know, like why do you not perceive it as release from your suffering to have a book tell you that you're really free? Why don't you acclaim the truth instead of looking at it like it's this enemy that you got to fight? He says, why does an easy path so clearly marked that it's actually impossible to lose the way seem thorny, rough, and far too difficult for you to follow? Those are great questions. He says, isn't it because you really see this course as a road to hell? That you really see this as a road to hell? That there is actually that's so inconspicuous. It's totally designed not to draw attention. I appreciate that. Thank you, Patrick. Well, that beats crawling out.
That's right.
That'll be a little bit more challenging. If I'm up here teaching, I'm going to crawl out of here. When I was a kid, I was so bashful that was the way I used to enter a room. Crawling. Yeah, so that's why I draw back so many memories. That was me. That people say, I couldn't imagine you being that bashful. I still am. I just take a breath and dive in anyway. Sometimes you have to do that.
Yep.
You just take a breath and
Yep.
go ahead. Because public speaking is the #1 fear above death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People would rather die than do what I'm doing. Think about that one. And then it says, isn't it because you really see it as a road to hell? Instead of looking at it as a simple way without sacrifice or loss to find yourself in heaven and in God. There's a part of me that looks at it like if I do what the course is asking me to do, I'm going to lose.
Yeah.
That somehow if I do what this is telling me to do, I'm going to lose. And he says, until you realize you give up nothing, until you understand there is no loss, he says you're going to have regrets about the way that you've chosen. Okay, let's stop right there. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, how do I keep myself from having regrets about any path I've chosen? Not just the Course in Miracles, but the truth applies to everything. So you could say, how could I assure myself that I don't have regrets about any way that I've chosen? Well, he tells us, well, you have to tell yourself you're not going to lose, that there is no loss, that you're going to benefit through what you're doing. You know, he says if you do that, then you won't have regrets. You won't have regrets about choosing to marry that person if you really assured yourself that you weren't going to lose by marrying that person, that you were going to benefit. You wouldn't have any regrets about choosing a job if you really thought you were not going to lose by having that job. You see what I'm saying? The regret always comes from the belief that we're going to lose from a choice that we made. So if you want to let go of regrets, you have to learn how to see it as if I am not going to lose, which means this is going to benefit me. There's going to be some gain to me in coming to this class. There's going to be a gain to me in studying A Course in Miracles. There's going to be a gain to me in having a friendship with you. It doesn't matter what the situation is, the truth is the same. If I want to let go of regret in any area, not just this area, what do I need to tell myself? There is no loss. I'm not going to lose. He says, because if you don't tell yourself there is no loss, he says, then you will not see the many gains that your choice has offered you. Like people say, I made this choice, but I don't see the benefit to me. And he's saying, well, the reason why you don't see the benefit to you in your choice is that you are regretting the way, at least you didn't crawl, at least you are. That's my friend, I can mess with her. And you will not see the many gains that your choice has offered you when you have regrets about the way you've chosen. When will you have regrets about the way you've chosen? When you don't see that there is no loss. See, the Course is totally logical and reasonable. So why is it that I don't see the many benefits in my life right now? Because I'm having regrets about my life right now. Why am I having regrets about my life right now? Because I think I'm losing and sacrificing in my life right now. So now I'm not seeing the blessings that are in my life right now. So it says, though you don't see the many gains, they are there. So even though you may not see the benefits of the choices that you're making to go toward the truth, the benefits are there. So their cause has been affected. They must be present where their cause has entered in. So what do I want to get out of this paragraph? Whenever I read the Course in Miracles, I always ask myself, what was it that Spirit was trying to tell me in that paragraph? What did it say? Not how deep can I analyze it, but I ask myself, what did it say? Well, why am I not happy because I'm studying this stuff? Why am I not happy when the book tells me that freedom is my natural right, that I deserve to be free? Why am I looking at the Course in Miracles as if it's my enemy instead of looking at the truth as if it's my friend? Why am I saying this is a difficult path for me to follow, even though it's clearly marked and I'm given very simple, direct things that I can do every day to change my experience? Why am I saying it is difficult? And then it says it's because if you be honest with yourself, there's a part of you that believes that the truth is going to hurt you, that if you do what these truth books are saying, somehow or another, there's a part of the mind that feels like this is not going to help me. This is not to my benefit. It's not to my benefit to forgive somebody for what I think they've done to me. It's not to my benefit to trust people. It's not to my benefit to be truly open. I could lose by trusting in God and believing that God's going to take care of me. There's a part of me that believes that I'm going to lose. That's why I'm not excited about what I'm doing, was what he told me. And that would be true in any situation that I feel regret in. And why don't I see the benefits with being with you? The reason why I don't see the gains my choice to be with you is offered me is because I don't believe I'm benefiting from being with you. And if I think I'm not benefiting from being with you, I won't see the blessings from being with you. Okay, any questions about that? Everybody clear about that paragraph? So if you are feeling regret in any area right now, what is the one statement that you're telling yourself?
There is no loss.
That there is loss. Mm-hmm. That I'm somehow, this is not benefiting me to do this. You know, when I got into the truth, it excited me. It turned me on. I couldn't wait to read it. It really made me feel better. So one of the things that's always been a challenge for me sometimes is to watch the reaction of people to the truth as if, again, like they're going to the dentist. Mm-hmm. It's like, I've got to go study now. I got to go to the class today. It's like, then you might need to change your perception of what you think it's bringing you. Yeah. Okay? So any comments? Any questions about paragraph 1? I love questions. Especially if it has to do with understanding what I just said, more so than something totally different that's not related. Yeah.
So what if instead of feeling like you're losing, you see both paths and you see both of them would be beneficial and you don't know how to go down one of them?
Well, the main thing that you want to do is to first remind yourself that the path that you want to go down is beneficial. And what I've found out is no two paths have completely equal attraction. That almost like we're not actually capable of giving two things exactly equal attraction, actually. So it would be easier to answer a question like that by asking, what is your purpose? And then getting really, really clear about what your purpose is. And then the Course says the two alternatives would then reveal to you which one would move you the fastest to your goal. And out of the two choices that you're making, which one can you actualize today, which one can you actualize the fastest, and which one would be the easiest to do, would be the way that I would begin. Because an answer that's coming from Spirit, the Course teaches, is always something you can do now. It's always the thing that you can start putting the energy into today. So even within the two choices you're thinking, which one of those choices would be the easiest for you to implement right now, and which one of those choices feel the lightest. So you would also give it what I call the heavy light test. It would be, out of those two, which one really in my body feels the lightest. And if you be honest with yourself, it doesn't mean you have to do this in 2 seconds, but if you were to be honest with yourself and get quiet with yourself, then you would realize if one of them has more of an appeal than the other one, even if it's really slight. And here's a really easy way out. It doesn't matter which one you choose. If both of them are appealing to you, where's the loss?
No, I'm saying there is no loss.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if I had two choices and I was trying to decide between the two of them, and both of them seemed beneficial to me, it really wouldn't matter which one you chose. You would just choose either one of them. You could flip a coin. It wouldn't make any difference. If 13th is going to take me to the Capitol building, and Colfax is going to take me to the Capitol building, I could ask myself which one would be the easiest. Well, 13th in terms of traffic. But I'm going to end up at the Capitol building either way it goes. So therefore, both choices were cool. No matter which one I chose, I'd still be successful. I'd get to the Capitol building. Which one would be the smoothest trip to the Capitol building? Well, that would be me stepping back off of it a minute and then just looking at it objectively. What would be the easiest one for me to do now? What would be the fastest for me to do now? The most important thing is to make the choice to go to the Capitol building. See, the form follows the purpose. So as soon as you get clear about what you want, the means, the Course says, and how you will achieve it presents itself. The obstacles are only there because the person isn't completely sure they want what they're asking for. That the obstacles show up because you're wishy-washy about your commitment to the goal. And so that's why you want to make sure that you're clear that this is what you want to experience, because when you're clear that this is what you want to experience, even if an obstacle comes up, your desire for the thing beyond the obstacle will pull you, the Course says, it will pull you past the obstacle. Think about that again. If I know I want it, and I have no doubt I want it, then you'll find that all the things that come up, you're willing to see them different, you're willing to overlook it, you're willing to keep on trying to do it anyway. It's like if you're trying to buy a house and you really know you want the house. Have you noticed that you'll do whatever it takes to get it if that's what you really want, if any way possible? Of course, that's what we are about everything. Yeah. If you really want to be in a relationship with me, and you know you want to be in a relationship with me, even if I make errors, you'll be willing to forgive me. You'll be willing to give me another chance. You'll be glad to try to give me another chance. Why? Because you want to be with me. But if you decide that you don't want to be with me, then it doesn't matter what I do. You're going to use whatever I do as justification to separate from me. So what's important is to be clear that this is what you want, that your purpose is clear. Some of the people are wishy-washy about their purpose. I don't know, I kind of think I want this path. Then they're shocked that all these things come up to block them. Yes?
I was just commenting before the class about how I walked in and I didn't do the homework. And I just had to be honest that, what, is this and you were saying it was a common thing. I'm coming to realize there's a piece of me, and it's the ego saying, you don't deserve this. So why, when I go to read my workbook, and there's anxiety around it. but I
Yeah.
make it here and I breathe and go, it's all right, and forgive myself, but is this
When you
common?
well, actually, when you do, when
That's
you
like
actually
a
do,
70,000-pound book.
when you actually do the workbook, it will be because you really want the goal that the course is promising you.
Right.
Because there's no way you can say you want something and you also don't want the means to get it, and you're not willing to do what it takes to get it. So you'll know when you're really sincere about anything you say you want, when you're willing to do what it takes. You know, I'm sincere about being a doctor, but I'm never going to medical school.
Right.
It ain't happening. The minute I really want to be a doctor, I'm going to go to medical school, even if I don't like looking at cadavers.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when I hear people say they really want anything, but I see that they don't do the thing that it would take, I want to master A Course in Miracles, but I'm never reading it. You know, I want to master peace, but I'm not. But I'm still attacking. I don't want to be a victim, but I'm not taking responsibility for anything that's happening to me. It's like you can always. It's not difficult to tell who's sincere about what they say. A person says, "I really want to get along with you, and I want us to stop having problems with each other." Well, okay, what can we do together to get past the blocks that we have with each other? And then we decide on that, and then we say, okay, let's do that. You can all action speaks louder than words, especially in New Age, New Thought community.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, as you'll find, you build a lot of grievances in the New Age, New Thought community. Because people in the New Age, New Thought community say what they are trying to be as if they've already mastered it. So everybody say, I love you, I'm there for you, you can depend on me, you're in my thoughts all the time. You know, we say wonderful things in the New Age, New Thought community. But the actual action that backs up that, we'll sometimes find that's not our strong point. It's the actual, I'm going to do what it takes to do that. So what is the point of this paragraph? The point of this paragraph is, if you have any kind of regrets about anything that you've chosen, it's because you don't really believe it's going to benefit you, and that there's some loss that's possible. And when you tell yourself you're going to lose because of a choice you've made, we were also told that that means that you won't see the blessings and the benefits that this choice is offering you. So when you don't see the blessings of a choice, it's not because the blessings aren't there, is what I'm hearing Jesus tell me in this paragraph. It's not because the blessing isn't there, Earl. It's because you don't believe you're going to benefit by this choice. And your not believing you're going to benefit by this choice keeps you unaware of the benefits of what you just decided to do. So if nothing else, now we ought to be clear about why we don't see the blessings of choices we've made. So what do I work on when I don't see the blessing of the choice I've made? I focus on the benefits of it. I start, okay, what would be the benefit of going to medical school if I say I want to be a doctor? What would be the benefit? Well, then I got all this support, and I got all this help, and I got the other doctors, and I got the, you know what I'm saying? So it's not until I get clear about the benefit and that I'm not going to lose that I'll see the blessing. So if I'm in a relationship and I feel like it's not something that really works for me, I need to ask myself, first of all, what is the benefit? What is it for? What is it that I think I'm going to lose by being in it? And you can apply that to anything. I'm getting ready to have a conversation with you about something that's bothering me, but I'm afraid to do that. Well, then that means I think I'm going to lose by having this conversation with you. So what I should focus on is, what would be the benefit of me having an honest, open communication with you right now? And if I focused on what would be the benefit of having an open and honest communication with you right now, then I wouldn't feel the loss so much, and then I would feel more motivated to talk to you. The benefit, is what you're looking for is the benefit, but your ego is going to be looking for where you can lose.
Right.
It's going to be looking for everything that go wrong about me wanting to have that conversation with you.
Okay.
That you could leave me, lost. You could attack me, lost. But actually what it could do is get rid of the blocks that keep us from really being connected with each other. That's would be the benefit of me talking to you. So what you realize as you study the Course in Miracles is that it's a book full of universal laws and principles that you could apply to any situation, and not just what he's talking about in the book. and it works. Notice how I applied that to about 6 or 7 different things. That's what you want to do. You want to get in touch with the content of a rule, and then you can apply it to any specific situation. So now none of us need to say we don't understand why we're not excited or enthusiastic about anything that we're saying we're trying to do. It's because at some level, I do not believe it's going to benefit me like I think it would. That's why I haven't got off my butt. That's why I'm not doing it. That's why I'm not making any moves. I'm just doing lip service. I don't really think it's going to benefit me yet. All right, that was one paragraph. The difference between just reading the words and hearing them, isn't it? See, if you don't engage your mind, you won't remember any of it. Because all of us are educated enough to be able to read words. You know, so that's why the Course says, read me slowly. In the instructions, it's like, read me slowly. All right? So let's do the next paragraph. It says, you have accepted healing's cause, and so it must be you are healed. And being healed, the power to heal must also now be your power. So the miracle is not a separate thing that happens suddenly, as an effect without a cause, nor is the miracle in itself a cause. But where the miracle's cause is, the miracle must be. Now is it caused, the miracle is caused, but not yet perceived. So your healing, your correct way of seeing things, has actually been created, but you don't see it yet. And so it says, and so the effects of the miracle are there, though you don't see it. Look inward now, and you will not behold a reason for regret. But if you look inward, you will see a cause indeed for glad rejoicing and for hope of peace. Which usually when you hear a paragraph like that in the Course, it makes you go, what the hell did I just hear? It sounded like English. He said healing, accepted, must, also. Sounds like English, but I don't know what the hell he just said. Okay. So what it just did was told us this. You may not realize it, but you've already been healed. You may not realize it, but your choice to go for love and truth really worked. But you don't see it yet. So the primary blessing of that paragraph is to change our relationship to time. Let me give you an example of what he's doing. He's telling you that you already achieved it, but you don't realize it yet. That you've been working on your perception, you've been changing your mind, especially by the time you get to page 610. You also think that's page 610, that's not page 20. So Spirit is saying to you, and by the way, a miracle is a correct perception. A miracle is a correct interpretation. So when the Course says miracle, it's not talking about you being able to walk water, which you can do very well when there's puddles on the ground. But what it's really talking about is correct perceptions, that we've already gotten brand new correct perceptions and brand new ways to look at things. And that we really are reaping the benefits of that, but we might not see it yet. So think of it this way. Tell yourself, this book just told me I'm further along than I think I am, but I just don't know it. And be with that thought rather than analyzing it. Just go, he just told me that the miracle has been effected in my life. Love and a correct perception and a new way of doing things and seeing things has been affected within my mind, but I don't realize it yet. Because it's much better to look for a treasure that really is buried in your backyard that you don't know about or know exactly where it is than to be looking for a treasure in your backyard that's not there. So it's basically saying you may not see it yet, you may not see all the benefits yet, you may not feel the peace that I'm talking about yet, but you do have a sane mind. There is a part of you that is truly loving and powerful. There is a part of you that really gets this. You just don't perceive it yet. And see, that keeps you motivated to keep on going through the blocks, because if you know on the other side of your block that the treasure is there, you keep on digging in the backyard. So the reason why Spirit is saying this to us is so that we'll keep on moving toward our goal regardless of what it looks like right now. So that's 2 points, right? Point number 1 is when I don't see any benefits and I think I'm going to lose, then I'm not excited about the choices I've made. So I need to make sure I see the benefits in my choices. Point number 2 is I'm further along than I think I am. I cannot lose. The truth is going to manifest in my life. The love is going to manifest in my life. The happiness is going to manifest in my life, but I don't see it yet. But that doesn't mean it's not there. 2 points that'll undermine your ego. What's the point of all this? To undermine your ego. To undermine the part of you that thinks that you can't be happy. And that you can't have a life that's fulfilling. That's what this is about. It's pulling the plug on your ego. And don't you think for 2 seconds your ego is not going to do everything in its power to make you not see what I'm saying.
Oh my God.
You know, yes, but, 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 yes, but. Everybody got a good juicy yes, but out of that? Yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. Okay. Any questions or comments about that? Yes.
That is just so reassuring what you just said about you've changed your thoughts, you study the book and you everything, and just because you don't see it right now, you know, that's just awesome for me to know that. I mean, just to feel it, and then like you say, I can read the words, but hearing it again in someplace else, because I know that I've been thinking this week, because it just dawned on me that because I'll read the course and that doesn't apply to me, obviously. But then I realized that I have to go back and read the obstacles to peace is the desire to get rid of it.
That's right.
And I'm like, oh, that's me. Huh?
That's
and
right.
instead, you know, when I start to read it, because I've read the course and read the course and read the course, even though I didn't understand it, I just kept reading it. Thank goodness.
God.
And now it's just when it comes in, because when I first read that, obstacle to peace, the desire to get rid of it, that's not me. But now, last week, I'm like, oh my God, I better get back in there and see about the obstacle to peace and the desire to get rid of it, because obviously that's what I've been doing.
And think about this. How many of us breathe one time for the entire day?
Yeah.
We don't get up in the morning and breathe one time and go, oh, okay, that takes care of it, no more breath needed. We breathe. Why do we approach the truth like I can half-heartedly say the truth to myself one time every now and then, and now I'm shocked that all my relationships aren't working. I'm shocked that I'm not having to fulfill life. It's constant. You have to remind yourself of the truth constantly, just like you breathe constantly. What's really funny is that our ego has no problem with reminding us of something to be afraid of constantly, and we never get tired of that. We never go, okay, you know, my ego has said 1,000 times a day, so I'm not going to listen to nothing my ego said for another week. But I've heard people say to me, okay, I just had enough truth right now. So I'm going to have to, yeah, but you don't hear people say, I've had enough ego in the sense, and really do it. But people that really do it with the truth, they go, I've had enough truth right now, they won't read anymore, they won't go to class anymore, but they don't go, I've had enough of my ego right now, so I'm not going to be angry anymore, I'm not going to attack anymore, I'm not going to be a victim anymore. But the truth, yes. Or I hear the classic one, it's time for me to go out and live it now. I don't need to read it anymore, I need to go live it now. And then well, what did it say in chapter 9 of the Course in Miracles? I don't have the slightest idea. I never read chapter 9. Well, wait a minute. You get ready to live something. You don't even know the basic premise and the theoretical framework of it, but you're going to go out here and practice it. The ego is hilarious. It's hilarious. I'm going to go out here and do the course, but you haven't read the course. But I'm going to do it. You know, and so just catch your own ego is what I'm saying. Stalk your own ego. Catch the bullshit you tell yourself all the time.
Exactly.
Is what I'm saying. Because if you don't do it, nobody else is. If you don't stalk your own ego, nobody else can do it for you. Okay, so how do I know when my ego is in charge? By the way I feel. How can I know when my ego is in charge? By the way I feel. How can I tell when my ego is in charge? By the way I feel. I feel depressed. I feel unhappy, I feel sad, I feel confused, I have no enthusiasm, I have no joy, I have no abundance, and I'm lonely, and I have diarrhea. Pretty much sounds like the ego to me.
Yeah.
Just personally. You know. So the next time you're wondering when you're listening to the ego or the Holy Spirit, which is a very common question I get. How can you tell when it's the ego or the Holy Spirit? By the way you feel. Because the truth is going to inspire you. It's going to give you some degree of confidence, some degree of peace if you hear it. Like Cole says, was a workbook lesson that says, God's answer is always some form of peace. That if you've heard an answer that comes from God, you should feel, even if it's a little teeny weeny bit, you feel a little bit more peaceful. When you're listening to your ego, you just feel more depressed. So if you're telling yourself something from the Course, but you're feeling more depressed, like, I know I created that relationship that I'm going through. Okay, then that's your ego's interpretation of the truth.
Right.
That was, yeah, you said true words, but it was your ego interpreting every bit of it. So your interpretation was not true. That was not what the book was saying the way you're doing it. Taking responsibility is not taking blame.
Oh my God.
They're not the same thing.
That's amazing.
Blaming yourself is not the same as I'm now taking responsibility.
Holy shit.
Right. Thank you for sharing. Since Jesus is on vacation, I can cuss.
My ego's bad at it. Jesus.
It's on vacation. All right. Ready for another paragraph? Or you done? How you doing out there? Okay, you all right? You
My
okay?
ego's pissed, but everything's cool.
Okay, good. All right, good. If I'm doing this right, that's exactly the way it should be.
Good.
Yeah, your ego is like quite upset, but your real self is going, okay, more.
Yep.
Come on, black man. Okay. Notice the slow course is a killer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if I was running through it, the ego would be like, great, but I'm not doing that. I'm taking it slow, so the ego's... You have accepted healing's cause. What does that mean? You have accepted that peace is your goal. You have accepted that you want oneness. You have accepted that you want to take responsibility. You have accepted there's another way of looking at things. You've accepted that you're willing to have the Holy Spirit be in charge. That's the cause of healing. I have been willing to change my mind. That's the cause of healing. He says, so it must be that you are healed. And being healed, the power to heal must also now be yours. The miracle is not a separate thing that happens suddenly as an effect without a cause. Like it says, nor is what it in itself a cause, but where its cause is, must it be. Now is it caused, though not as yet perceived. Its effects are there, though not yet seen. And then what the last part of the paragraph say? Look where? Inward. Now, what does that mean? Look inside your own mind. Look inside your own heart. Look inside your own thought processes. Look inward now, and what? He says, you will not behold a reason for regret, but cause indeed for glad rejoicing and for hope of peace. That if you really look within, you will feel glad because you realize that you realize enough and you tuned into the truth enough and you focused on the truth enough that now there is some hope for peace for you. You have some new ways that you're looking at things. You know you do. Everybody here, you know you do. You know you've heard enough of something that you do have new ways that you could look at things, which really, if I look within, would make me feel like I wanted to rejoice. Because I do have other ways, new ways of looking at things.
Thank God.
Now, it's been hopeless to attempt to find the hope of peace upon a battleground. It's been futile to demand escape from sin and pain of what was made to serve the function of retaining sin and pain. For pain and sin are one illusion, hate and fear are one illusion, attack and guilt are one illusion. What does that mean? It means that the idea of pain comes from the idea of I've done some type of a sin. The idea that there's a such thing as sin creates the idea of pain. They're the same thing. Hate and fear are the same thing. When you hate someone, it's just an extreme form of fear. It's like the most extreme form of fear you could experience is hatred. So hatred and fear are one, And also attack and guilt are one. You can't feel guilty unless you feel like there's been some form of attack. Either an attack on yourself or an attack on another person. And if you feel like you've attacked someone or hurt someone, then you feel guilt. So guilt and attack go together. So if I'm walking around all day feeling guilty, I'm walking around all day feeling like I'm hurting somebody all day. Even if it's just me thinking I'm hurting myself all day. Because I can feel guilty about the way I treat myself. I can feel guilty about what I do to me. So I'm walking around all day hurting Earl all day. So I'm feeling guilty about the way I'm treating myself. So a lot of people's guilt is coming from just the way they're treating themselves. Do you know that you're demanding punishment from the universe for the way you do you? If you're putting yourself down all day, not seeing your beauty all day, not seeing your innocence all day, you're attacking yourself all day. And then you feel guilty because you know you deserve better than what you're giving to yourself. Right, and then what the ego does is blame somebody else for it. That's the ego's game. And I'm going to make it be you, my dear, as to why I'm feeling so upset. Because I don't even want to own that I'm doing it to myself. So the Course says, why? He says, where they are causeless, their effects are gone. Now, if you're reading the Course and you read a sentence and it doesn't make any sense to you, do not stay on that sentence trying to understand it. I'll say it again. Beep, 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 beep. Course in Miracles students. If you're reading the Course in Miracles and you don't understand what you just read, do not, I repeat, do not stop there to try to figure it out. Keep going, because the friggin' book is saying the same thing 900,000 different ways. So it will restate exactly what you didn't understand in another way if you just keep going. So staying there at that spot is a trick to not go any further in your understanding. Everybody with me? And it may be a page like that. It may be 3 pages like that, where you go, I read all 3 of these pages and I don't know what the heck I just read. And then all of a sudden you will come up on a sentence that will make total sense to you, that will blast you out of your seat. And also begin to make the rest of the stuff make sense that you just heard. So never feel like you have to get every sentence before you go to the next one. And one day you're going to come back and say, I don't understand why I didn't see that at the first time I read that. And the Course says that it wasn't a matter of your not understanding what it was saying. It was a matter of your not wanting to accept what it was saying. And you'll say, I don't understand it. Like the book will say, you are not a body. And one of the most common responses to that is what? I don't understand what you mean. Yes, you do. You know what not means? And a means, body means. It's like me saying, you are not this microphone. You go, sure. Yeah. Right? But I say, you're not this body. And you go, I don't understand. No, it's the exact same thing. You're not the microphone. You're not your body. So all of a sudden, the mind goes into, I don't understand. And it's not true that you didn't understand. You didn't want to accept that you are not a body. Because your whole identity is around your physical body. Everything about your life is around your physical body. So the idea that you wouldn't be that is not something you want to accept. And so you say, I don't understand. And so what you do is you keep going, because it did not say you didn't have a body. It did not say you don't have a body. It says you are not a body. Do you have one? Obviously. Do you wish sometimes somebody else would have it? Obviously. Are you upset sometimes when nobody wants it? Obviously. Okay, so yeah, we got one, right? And so you do have one. I notice if I said you have a body, did you notice that you felt less resistance? Yeah, because you know you can accept that. I can accept to have one. I'm still having a hard time accepting I'm not one. And then the Course says, well, it's obvious that you should believe it's you, right? Because there are 2 things that make you think you're a body. Did you know that? There are just 2 things that make us think that this is our total identity. 2 things. pleasure and pain. Feels good. I got a massage Friday that felt so good. Felt like it was my body being touched. Really feels like it's me. You touched my back, I felt that. See, pleasure. Then if I get a backache, oh, I must be my body. Why? Because I'm feeling this pain in my body's back. So the courts would say to begin to break the identification, the truth says in order to begin to break the identification with your body, which actually heals it, by the way, is to say my body's back is hurting. I'm walking my body through the park. And then observe your body as you walk it through the park. Imagine what it would look like to look at your body from behind. And then when you do, don't go, my butt's too big. That is not spiritual, psychic development at its height. I need to lose about 10 pounds. I think I'm going to put my mind back in my body. I don't like what I'm seeing, you know. But little mental tests like that will get you in touch with your psychic and intuitive abilities to go beyond your body. Ask yourself, what would it look like if I was looking down on my body from above? That happened to me one night. You know, you can have, I don't know if any of you have had out-of-body experiences, but I've had out-of-body experiences. And one night I was thinking I was going to the bathroom, and I looked up and I saw my body in front of me walking to the bathroom. And it shocks you. Yes. And when it shocks you, you immediately go back into your body. Yeah. And you feel yourself as being in. How many of you have been asleep and then all of a sudden you set up real fast because you felt like you were falling?
Yes.
You know, yeah. You know, when at night your consciousness leaves your body every night. And when you have that falling sensation, it's your own consciousness coming back into the awareness of the body again. And you go, whoa! You know, you travel every night. You never stay at home at night. You're out all night, every night.
I'm the one I'm so tired all the time.
Especially the stuff you be doing.
That's right. Does it wake you up when you come back?
Yes, if it'll wake you up, it'll wake you up. You'll go, you know, you are more than you think you are. You're 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 more than you think you are. Don't buy into this stuff that we were taught by people who didn't know any more than we do. It's a story. We've been given a story, and we bought it. And the Course is saying, well, how can you tell if the story you have bought is not true? Good question. I like these kind of questions, right? How can you tell? It brings you no peace or joy. That's how you know it's an untrue story. Is you're not happy. You don't feel any peace. But many people would rather be what? Right than happy. So they'd much rather stick to their story, even though their story isn't bringing them any kind of happiness, than to go, your whole story could be wrong. What do you mean? The story that you're not enough, the story that you're not innocent, the story that you're not lovable, the story that you don't deserve to be happy, the story that you're separate from God, the story that you're guilty, the story. And when do we get the deepest stories that are untrue? Usually through our religious upbringing. That's when we get the greatest infusion of guilt, usually, is when you come in and you're taught religious things that tell you you're somehow flawed and guilty. And then that belief gets lodged within your consciousness, right, as a kid, which is that you are somehow flawed, not enough, imperfect. Your consciousness creates your reality. So your consciousness starts to create things that prove to you you really are a bad kid, a flawed kid, whether it's the other kids bullying you or attacking you. The most protective thing a parent can do for their kid is to support their kid's belief in their own innocence.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Because you can't be with your kid physically all the time. So you got to support Holy Spirit being with your kid and your kid's consciousness being protective of that kid. A kid that feels like it's truly loved cuts down on a lot of drama.
Hell yeah.
I'm telling you, it's easier than we make it. It's easier than we make it. So I'm going to say to you that you have succeeded more than you think you've succeeded. You've created better situations and circumstances than you can see right now. You've healed your mind more than you think you have. Woo! You have many gains that you don't see, and you don't see those many gains because there's a part of you that's telling you that you're going to lose by what you're doing. That somehow or another that choice doesn't benefit you. And we're not happy to hear about how free we are, and we don't jump on top of the truth because we think it's a road to hell instead of an easy path to what we really want. So we need to focus on there is no loss, there is no loss, there is no loss, there's no such thing as losing. I can't lose, there's no such thing as losing. I cannot lose, I cannot lose, I can only gain. Everything is for my own best interest. Yes, but, yes, but, yes, but, yes, but. And when you hear those yes buts come up, just understand that's just the voice of the lie that you learned from the world. And you have the ability to go, I hear you, but I'm not going to let you direct me. I hear you, voice that's telling me that I don't deserve love, that I am going to lose, but I'm not going to let you direct my action. I'm going to go with the idea that I have benefited, but I may not see it yet, and that I'm going to remind myself that I'm going to benefit through these choices I've made. No matter what, I'm going to benefit through these choices I've made, and if I tell myself that, I'll see the many gains that my choice has offered me, and all of a sudden I'll see the help that's available to me that I didn't see otherwise. And that's how you do it. Would you acknowledge yourself for letting yourself even come in here? This is another episode of As the Black Man Reigns. It's my favorite show. So let's do our financial expression of appreciation. I appreciate you. I teach the Course in Miracles full time in the world. So thank you so much for sharing and feeling that what I share with you is beneficial enough to share. Those of you on the internet, thank you so much for sharing with me. And if you'd like to make a financial expression of appreciation, you can go to my website at earlpurdy.com. I'm available for personal coaching and for personal tutoring. You can have one session with me, how to read the course, get the most out of the course, save myself time studying the course session with me, and I will save you months and years of letting your ego kick your butt because you don't understand what's going on. So it would be worthwhile to consider having a personal session with me if you really want to go deeper. Go to my website, it explains that, and we can book a time to get together. Also, I'm available for clarity sessions, which is simply you coming to me, share with me something you know that's a block that you want another way of looking at, and you want to get past that using the course. And if you're open to it, my awareness of astrology and numerology, which is just another way to get information from spirit. And we'll use that also. And all my classes are on YouTube, and they're also on my website. So if you hear a particular class like this one and you say, I want to hear that again, remember the date, because all of my classes have the date that they were recorded in the title. So you just look for that date, and usually I'm pretty good now. So usually they're all posted within 2 or 3 weeks of when I do them, because I want to get caught up on all of that. So in other words, you actually have support. If you know it's there. It's my greatest joy to be helpful in doing this, especially with people who reach their limit, and they're going, I've reached my limit. I'm really ready for my happiness in my life right now. I'm done with this, and we can do it together. It'd be a good thing. Okay, so let me do a quick review before we go out into the lab. Take a breath. And I like you to do that. Just relax. And focus in on my voice. There's one thought that I'm going to say over and over again, as many different ways as I can for about 2 or 3 minutes. And again, you don't have to say anything. Okay, just let yourself receive this. There is no loss. There is no loss. Everything is for your own best interest. Everything is for your own best interest. But you don't have to necessarily feel that way about it. And you don't have to necessarily see it as being the best thing for you. But everything is for your own best interest. There is no loss. So you're not going to lose by studying the course. You're not going to lose by studying the truth. You're not going to lose by applying the truth. You're not going to lose by applying the truth. And the truth is, you are innocent. No matter what you think you've done, you are innocent. No matter what you think you've done, you are innocent. Now, does that mean you don't make mistakes? Of course it doesn't mean you don't make mistakes. Mistakes are for correction, not punishment. Mistakes are for correction, not punishment. Mistakes are for correction, not punishment. So if you make a mistake, it can be corrected in a loving way. If you made a mistake, it can be corrected in a loving way. If you've done something you think that is wrong, it can be corrected in your mind lovingly. There is no loss. From studying the truth and trying to wake up, doing personal growth, assuming responsibility, realizing you're the creator of your experience, that will not result in loss. What you are doing is going to benefit you. All the spiritual work that you're doing is going to benefit you. Your spiritual practice is going to benefit you. So, until you understand there is no loss, you will have some regrets about the way you've chosen. Until you understand you cannot lose, you cannot lose, you cannot lose. The universe is not about loss. The universe is only about gain. God is only about gain. Love is only about gain. So you have some benefits you haven't seen yet. You have some benefits you haven't seen yet. You have created a healing in your life that you haven't seen yet. You have succeeded in ways you don't realize yet. You have succeeded in ways you don't realize yet. Tell yourself that. It's guaranteed. If you say that to yourself, it's guaranteed to make you feel better. There are blessings in your life that you haven't seen yet, but you're going to see them. And every time you do what you're doing now, focusing on the truth, you are removing the blocks to your awareness of the blessings that you have. Coming here today was you allowing yourself to go past any blocks that would tell you that you lose, that you don't deserve love, that you are alone, you are innocent. So you tell yourself, I must be healed. Even if I don't see it right now, I must be healed. Even if you don't feel it right now, you must be healed. Even though you may have some of the same feelings you've had before, you are being healed and you are healed. You are being healed and you are healed. You are innocent. Sometimes you make mistakes. Holy Spirit, the loving part of God in you, will heal and correct your perception of those mistakes. You are not alone and you cannot lose. You are not alone and you cannot lose. You cannot lose. You cannot lose. Can you think you've lost? Yes. Can you feel like you've lost? Yes. But have you lost? No. So there are two statements you can tell yourself. You can say, I do not perceive my own best interest. And then follow that up with, everything is for my own best interest. I do not perceive my own best interest in this relationship. Everything that's happening to me is for my own best interest in this relationship. And that's how you begin to work past the blocks. So if you walk out of here today with just one thought, I can't lose, even though I might think I do sometimes. And then follow that up with, I'm the most ridiculously juicy being that was ever born. I'm overflowing with juice. I am the juice of God. And then it'll take you right through to the other side, I tell you. I appreciate y'all. I love you. Thank you for coming to the class. Awesome. Awesome. Woo! See you tonight at 7 o'clock. We're doing the Way of Mastery class right here. You're welcome to come. Hugs are available. And may the course be with you.